Hi again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Charger 360, the official video podcast of the University of New Haven. I'm J.W. Stewart, former ESPN and NBC anchor, and I teach sport management here at the University of New Haven.
And I'm Bruce Barber, a former shock jock with WPLR, and now, favorite part of my career, I am the general manager of 88.7 WNHU, our campus radio station.
And this is one of the favorite parts of our job, is doing this show.
It's the best. It is absolutely the best because we get to meet so many people and we get to highlight people that we've encountered in our time here on campus. And I'm super excited about our guest today.
Today's a perfect example because this is really interesting. Our guest today, you know him for one reason, I know him for another reason.
Yes. So why don't you start and then I'll give you my side. And
sure.
He'll be lucky if he gets a word in edgewise today.
Well, he knows you, so I think that's not going to be a surprise. But we're very pleased to welcome our guest today, Giye Jenkins. Giye is a senior computer science major here at the University of New Haven. He was also a member of our football team, which is how I know him from broadcasting our football games and calling his name, making one big play after another. And you know him for
his computer science major, and so I'll get into that in a second. But it's just such an amazing thing to watch to see someone who's been so accomplished in so many areas on campus.
Well, Giye, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So, Giye, tell us where you're from and your path to the University of New Haven.
Well, all right. Born in Lafayette, Louisiana. Grew up there for a couple years, and then really my childhood was placed in Atlanta, Georgia. So from about kindergarten to 8th grade, grew up in Georgia, playing sports and doing all of those things. Then when I got to high school, I moved to West Orange, New Jersey. Been there really the past 8 years, and then thankfully got a football scholarship in the year 2021 to come to the University of New Haven. And came here, as I was telling you guys before. I didn't really know what I wanted to do as far as my major. I really just focusing on football. Major-wise, I was originally going to be a psychologist because I love learning about the mind and things of that nature. But I decided, hey, let me go into the video game route because that's what I like to do. And so about a year into my major, I was like, hey, I want to learn how to make video games. So I talked to my advisor. He said, hey, that will lead you to the computer science route. And that's how I got the title. And one more semester away from graduating, thankfully.
So we should definitely talk about football in a second, but I have to tell the story of how the two of us got together, and it's such a joy. So as the general manager of our campus radio station, I started to realize that there are a lot of things that you have to do to run a college radio station. And it's a learning curve for each one of them. The other thing I realized was that there are so many incredible things going on in college radio, but they're all separate. So the other piece is I really want to use the radio station as a platform for learning for all aspects of the campus. So I had this idea, why don't we write some software that would basically be all the features that you need to run a radio station in the cloud integrated. And so we got five computer science students to write it. Tell us about that.
So yeah, the project is called Station Engine, and when Bruce came to us with this idea, we started doing some research, and as you were saying, there's aspects when it comes to the radio station as far as EQing, the website, software as far as queuing the songs and things of that nature, but it was all kind of fragmented. And so our initiative was to, hey, let's go and talk to the students and the people that are behind the scenes and building the radio station on a day-to-day basis. And we asked them, what are a couple of things that we could fix, from your perspective that needs to be, fixed to help you guys out in the future. The first feature that we're really going to implement is just the EQing process, the EQing of the songs, because right now the students are in control of that, not the software. And they're saying that takes X amount of time, too much time to, as far as taking away from other things that they can be focusing on in their project, as far as, building up the radio station, things of that nature. So that's one feature that we implementing so far. And then the other feature is just admin backend for them to have more control over the songs that are being played and things of that nature, and how it's being presented on a radio station. So those are the two main things that we're focusing on. And as far as the website, we know we want to get the analytics. So we're going to have analytics as far as liking songs, adding a favorite. You're able to like a song and then have like queuing your own music so that, you can save the song that you liked on the radio station. And now Bruce and, the radio team can go back with that data and say, hey, this is what's working, this is what's not working. And all of these things are just going to help, build a software that's going to help them in the long run. And that, like you said, as time goes on and students come after us, they'll be able to build on top of it. But those are kind of the main focuses that we want to focus on right now for this semester.
Isn't that incredible?
It is incredible. I think it's just another example of how different what would be considered departments here on campus work together very, very well, right? So this would be communication and the arts,
exactly.
and the computer science and the School of Engineering.
Exactly. And then the goal is to eventually, as we really build this into a full featured thing, take it out to other colleges and then make it so that you can combine all of the best of all these different shows. So potentially this can become something huge that was all built right here at the University of New Haven.
To add on what he's saying, that's another thing one of your students have mentioned, is that there are a lot of campuses that are dealing with the same issue that the university is dealing with. So again, this is a big opportunity that could really be not our campus, but campuses around the New England area.
You make something that's just turnkey, it's easy to use, and you just go ahead and work with it. Yeah.
How is the project going so far, and how long do you think it's going to take?
Project right now is going well so far. So the entire fall semester, the way our capstone project was divided up was just planning phase, because this is kind of our first, at least for me, our first time really building a project from scratch and then implementing it and things of that nature. So right now we did that, and then after the semester ended, we started saying, hey, we're going to just start building right away. Meet as a group, decide what are the softwares we want to use for certain features of our project, and then go from there. So right now it's going pretty well. We're having our first meeting on Tuesday with our teacher, because we meet every other week with our professor to just go over it. So I'm sure he'll have feedback for us to things that we can improve on. But as of now, the way we've divided it up is we all have our own separate piece of the software that we're working on. And the next phase that we're working on is implementing it and bringing it all to one cohesive software. But as of right now, it's going pretty good. Yeah, and then your question as far as planning when to be done, the goal is to be done probably like towards the end of April, maybe the first week of May will be just again having the EQing automated, being able to receive feedback as far as listener data, and then having the admin as far as the students and Bruce if they want to have a lot more access to the queuing system and how the songs are being created and the shows are being created. So those are the three main aspects.
And the great thing about having an active radio station is that we've got an environment. We can actually test this as a separate stream until we really get it working the way we want it to. So it's so exciting. I'm just I feel so lucky to be working with you and your team. They're all absolutely incredible, J-Dub, and it's just such a joy.
We were talking before we came on the air about AI, and how is AI being used, or how are you guys using AI to maybe help you with this project?
So AI as of now, we haven't tapped too much into AI as of now. It's kind of like Bruce has mentioned, we kind of want to get the groundwork laid out first, and then after that's done, then we'll look more into AI and see how it can help us. But one of the that's all we have right now. But so yeah.
Yeah, and in the future, so we're looking to build potentially. So you're working on basically the pieces automation software. Right. So that's where, when you don't have a live show on, it's playing music and it's playing IDs. And then that will integrate with a website. So we had to go buy automation software, learn to program it. We use Wix for our website. We had to use that. We want to have an app also eventually, and then a module for monetizing.
To that point too, we're already in the process of developing the app as well. I didn't even totally forgot to mention that as well. So
Jai,
bonus. So yeah, we because one of our teammates, Sarah, she took a app development class, so she's very well versed in that and how that process goes. So we're already along with the website building the app as well. So our goal is to maybe have more than what we initially planned to be done before we graduate, but taking it one day at a time, because it's definitely
not going to be just an A, but an A plus. J-Dub, A plus.
Well, Jai was an A plus defensive back here at the University of New Haven. So what you're doing with Bruce's project, that's what you're doing now. What you did your first 4 years here, 4-year starter. Please tell us, how would you describe your experience playing football here?
It was life-changing, personally, because I got to see the highs and I got to experience the lows. Originally, when I came here as a freshman, I wasn't thought as to be much of anything. Like, I wasn't a highly recruited player or anything like that. But I knew the capabilities that I had as a player, and through my hard work and dedication, I was able to, be playing as a defensive back my freshman year and making a noticeable contribution on the special teams effort and things of that nature. And then after that season, the coaches really looked at me as somebody, hey, you're somebody we're going to lean on in the future. And as a sophomore, halfway through the season, I was starting as the defensive back and, in the mix with all the other upperclassmen. But I would definitely say the lows from the standpoint of we won our conference 3 out of the 4 years I was here, but every time we got to the playoffs, it was just one play, 2 plays away from literally making a run. And so that was hard to deal with. And then, but I love my experience here. I love the coaches here. I love my teammates. Like, I couldn't ask for a better college experience, honestly, because the coaches didn't care about us just as players, but they cared about us as people as well, and wanted to make sure that we were, progressing in the classroom, in our social lives, in athletics, and things of that nature. So it was, and the atmosphere, the game day atmosphere at the university is top notch. Like, we'll go to other places and we'll be like, what is this? Like, we got more fans than they do. So it was everything that I could dream of as being a college athlete here, honestly.
Yeah, let me say, I don't want to embarrass you, but I will. Because I think one of the things that just really, I thought was so terrific about you is that you're so low key about it. You were incredible. And I didn't even really get that until I looked you up online. And I saw they had you mic'd up for a series of practices and everything. You could just feel your leadership. It was just inspirational. And then seeing some of the plays, throwing your body around and making these plays. So, congratulations on that. I think that is going to just put you in such a good position to succeed going forward. And it's really so nice to see of our students.
Well, I appreciate it, honestly.
I'll brag on Jai a little bit too. He was captain his senior year. He was the NE10 Defensive Player of the Year in 2023, a second team All-American the same year. And as you mentioned, 4 years as a player, all 4 years the Chargers made the NCAA Division II postseason and won a game, beat Bentley, Bentley at home. Yes. But then, like I said, they were a player or two away from advancing even further, but you were part of the best 4-year stretch in school history.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So you don't have a lot of spare time. We know this, but we always enjoy asking our guests, what do you enjoy doing in your spare time?
Spare time, honestly. I like
creating Station Engine.
Yeah, definitely that.
Yes, that's Station Engine for WNHU.
That's definitely one of my favorites. Honestly, I'd probably say like reading the Bible. My faith is something that has really carried me throughout my college experiences, growing as a person. So that's one thing. And then hanging out with my girlfriend. My girlfriend's my best friend. So I love hanging out with her. And then, whenever I get the chance, maybe playing basketball, going to the gym or doing things of that nature. But yeah, I'm a very low key person. And like I said, with all the work that I got going on with classes and things of that nature, my head is, tunnel vision right now.
As it should be. So we always like to, and I think it's almost like you don't need to field this question because I think you've given potential students such a desire to come here. But we do ask our guests to kind of let people know, if you're talking to a potential student, maybe a student athlete, somebody thinking about joining the football team here or studying computer science or game design, what would you say to that student?
As an incoming student?
Yeah.
I would say...
As somebody who's thinking about coming to the University of New Haven.
I would say, one, do it. And I would say, two, when you commit to it, like really, really commit to it. Because what you get in is what you get out. You know what I mean? So whether it's University of New Haven or any other campus you go to, like if you're going through it through the motions, not taking classes seriously, not being on your P's and Q's, then, you're not going to reap the benefits of it. But if you really go into it with intentions of, hey, I want to get better as a student. I want to get better in my athletics. Like the professors here are second to none. The people here, like every person that I've met, my classmates, my teachers, my teammates, they've all been just, whenever they can help, they help out. You know what I mean? So, but I think it's very easy as a college student to just say, hey, I'm gonna go to class, I'm gonna do me, hang out around my circle of people, and then that would be my day. You know what I mean? But I definitely say do it because UNH is a place like no other. And when you come here, step out of your comfort zone. Join a club and do things that you might not think you don't necessarily know you like, but you end up liking. You know what I mean? So those are things that I've learned through my 4 years that if I'd known earlier, I may have done a couple of things differently my freshman and sophomore year, but that's life. So that's what I would say.
Wow, that is just such good advice.
It is. Giye, thank you very much for being with us here on Charger 360. Good luck with the capstone project for Bruce and the radio station. And thank you for everything that you did for our football team and representing our university in such a positive and professional manner.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That'll wrap up this edition of Charger 360. If you want to be on the show, it's pretty easy. All you got to do is reach out to either me or Bruce, bbarber@newhaven.edu, or jstewart@newhaven.edu. If you'd like to watch any of our previous episodes, go to newhaven.edu/news/Charger360. For Giye, for Bruce, I'm J-Dub. Thanks for watching Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. See you next time, everybody.